In my opinion, the author of the Body Rituals article did an extremely good job of explaining how people of other cultures might see the vanity and almost obsessiveness of Americans to only focus, well, to focus only on work and how they look and their health, and the way that the author states in the article that it's almost as if they're trying to live forever because they fear dying. And this is extremely true, especially versus other cultures. If you look at many cultures, they will embrace their loved ones near their time of death, as they understand that they have come to the end of their life, that they have lived a long life, but Americans try to fight this fact. Another point that I think that the author did extremely well of pointing out was the fact that the bathrooms, showers, and medicine cabinets of America are extremely elaborate, and they are often filled with medicines and serums and many other items that people often will not use. They'll just switch to another one before they finish the first one, and then it just sits there, and it kind of they'll never use it, but they don't want to get rid of it, almost as if just having it there will protect them from whatever ailment that they are afraid of. Another really good point that I think that the author points out is the fact that Americans are one of the only countries that really put, well, at the time of the article in the 50s, that put mental health and had psychologists, which at the time was seen as taboo. So I understand why the author wrote it in such a critical sense, but I also do think that it shows a good demonstration of how America was then versus how it is now. Another good point that I think is pointed out is the fact that it's almost like Americans are sadists. We go to dentists and they inflict pain to fill cavities. And something not mentioned in the article that would go along with this would be like Botox, plastic surgery, things that people inflict on themselves as a way to try to appear better for their peers, because they're afraid that that's the only thing that people care about. Whereas in other countries, character is also considered. Some countries value land. It would just be different depending on where you're at in the world. A point that was not mentioned in the article that I do believe that would be somewhat strange looking at Americans versus another country, or from another country's point of view, would be our written communication. Like, for example, Americans rely heavily on social media, things like Facebook Messenger and text messaging, to communicate with other people, especially if it's things that they might not want to say to the person's face. They don't know how they're going to react. And also, to go along with that, we are the only country that will sit behind our keyboards and bully other people or bring other people down or make rude comments or snide comments just because we know that the other person can't physically retaliate. There's a computer screen behind us. It's not physical, it's not face to face. Other countries more so value face-to-face communications and deep relationships, whereas Americans have built such a strong reliance almost on social media and how they look on social media. This can actually be traced back, kind of, so to speak, to the beginning of time, really, especially in the Americas, when people were writing letters. People were using carrier pigeons. After letters, we had telegrams and then telephones. And even back in the 1800s and 1700s, there were newspapers that were running gossip columns, so to speak, where you could write in anonymously and talk about your neighbors. There were places that you could write to try to find a husband or a wife, kind of like online dating before that was a thing. And this would be something that has heavily evolved strictly from an American point of view that other people do not rely as heavily on. In a sense of whether this is detrimental or beneficial to American society, I think that it can kind of go both ways, but for the most part that it is detrimental. I believe this because we've become almost a society that many people will not go out of their way to meet new people face to face. They would rather do it behind a computer and get comfortable talking to them that way before they go on a date or just simply out to meet them. A lot of people are meeting people on Facebook and they're not who that they say that they are, and then bad things happen to these people. It has been happening for years and years and years, and I do believe that this isn't a problem that is solely American, but it is a problem that American culture faces more so than others. I do not believe that other cultures or other countries rely so heavily on social media, and I do believe that the younger generations of children will just more so rely on this because of the fact that they've never lived in a world where everything wasn't posted on social media, where you didn't post every update of your life on social media, and this could end up getting them into situations in which they get in trouble.